Hello, welcome to another edition of the Front Row Roundtable Show presented by Ralphie's. Thanks for being here. I'm Norm Waymer, along with Big John Melkowski, Marty Bin. Once again this week, although the gang, I guess, won't be together next week. So
Nope.
we're getting to the holidays.
And basketball season.
We'll figure it out as we go along. Good thing we don't have anything to talk about today.
No, not a gosh darn thing.
Nothing's happened the last couple of days.
See if we can cram all this in. And for once, news broke like right before we taped, which is...
It didn't. We broke it last week on this show, and I've been waiting all day to take credit for it, because heading into the first break, I said Urban had coached his last meaningful game at Ohio State. I saw Shelley crying on the sideline, and I know what that means. And you rolled your eyes and said, hold that thought. And I'm saying, for the first time...
Well, I think the Rose Bowl is meaningful.
No. It means, with the playoff format, it means absolutely nothing, and anybody that's fooling themselves, and that's a fool.
Have you heard the phrase... a stop clock is right twice a day?
Yes, it came up right before you walked in. Look, that one time every year I get it right, I'm going to call it out. And
I'm getting texts today. How can we take this and edit it down?
Yeah, I want to post that stuff. That's right.
Congratulations. I'm happy for you. Yeah. We're only in like week 83. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying, the one time. So all you shut your mouths. I got it right for the first time. And by the way, the Cowboys will lose in the first round of the playoffs. I'm calling that shot too.
Let's kind of get back to the topic of the day. We'll let others bounce around.
He'll coach again.
I'm sorry?
He'll coach again.
Oh, yeah.
In college.
Yeah.
He'll get his King's crown back somewhere else.
Yeah, all this stupid talk about him going to the Browns or the Bengals. No. I don't know why he'd go to the pros. He's a college coach. His offense would work in the pros.
USC, Florida State, UCLA, 2-3 years. Maybe Notre Dame if Kelly doesn't pan out.
All depends on his health.
No.
Yes, it does. No. What do you mean, no?
That was a convenient reason to get out.
Yeah, he was like faking that, being driven to his knees on the sidelines in pain.
Well, maybe being in a situation where you fibbed about something that was important and you could have just told the truth at the press conference, made the situation somewhat untenable, and then, oh, by the way, he tried to, be the bully he is, and it didn't work out so well this time, and that caused a little bit of extra strain. Because it's happened before. History repeats itself.
He did the same thing at Florida. He used his health as an excuse. He walked away.
We had
this conversation.
No, look.
If you're a fan, you want him as your coach. But you have to acknowledge what you're signing up for.
But if you listen to his press conference today, he said, I can't point to one thing. He said it was part of the health, partly the knowing that we had Ryan Day on the staff that could take over, partly knowing that we have a really good team of recruits here. He even said it's not just his health. And if that's the case, if you have a Ryan Day and you have a good team, then why are you stepping away?
First thing you have to understand about Urban Meyer is that as a coach, he is 1,000 miles an hour.
Agreed. Well, as is any coach.
The good ones. There are a lot of bad ones.
I think we can name a few that have been through Michigan recently that maybe weren't exactly 1,000 miles an hour.
Or 1,000 miles an hour in the wrong direction. Yeah.
And he doesn't know any other way to do it.
Fine.
Well, which is why he burns himself out. He's going to take a year off. He's going to feel a lot better because he doesn't have the stress.
I'm not a hater, and I'm on Team John on this one.
He's going to jump back in.
Doesn't make either one of you right.
Look, the clock may strike midnight twice.
I don't like the using it as an excuse thing.
This is twice now.
You can't put yourself inside his head.
Excuse is not.
And you haven't talked with the doctors to be able to.
But they said last year it was bothering him really bad toward the end of the year, and all off season it was bothering him, and yet he came back. So the belief is that he really wanted
to coach Ohio State,
and he'll want to coach again,
and he'll want to coach Florida State in a couple of years when Willie Taggart gets.
Well, Willie Taggart's done after this year.
Well,
so when Willie Taggart's replaced, also
Florida State.
That was a $30 million Florida State mistake.
Or USC when they finally realized Clay Helton's not a good coach.
Awful, yes.
He's not going to take a middling job. It's going to be a top job.
No, it's UCLA, USC, Florida State, Notre Dame.
Yeah. If Kelly jumps to the pros.
Or gets fired because...
But, what you're getting into, what's that mean?
What do you mean what I'm getting into?
No, you said if you hire him, you got to know what you're getting into.
Because you have to anoint him king of the university for a period of time and live with the consequences, because he's going to run the show.
What consequences?
That
Like going 10-1 every year, or
well,
I mean,
that's the good side of the consequences. Hey, look at what happened.
Have they ever been on probation?
No.
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 I just don't feel like my phone blowing up tonight.
Does every program run totally smooth? No.
Hey, just win, baby.
Do major coaches sometimes give kids opportunities that they don't deserve? Yeah.
Well, not Michigan men. I mean, good Lord, that never happens.
Well, you notice he did it at Florida, but not really at Ohio State. They didn't have the problems at Ohio State that they nearly had in Florida, because in a place like Florida, you have to take chance on kids that you don't have to take a chance on at Ohio State.
Well, and I think he learned some lessons from that, and so again, the whole thing with, Earl Bruce's prodigy is that I think he made a terrible mistake, and I think he's too prideful to have just owned up to it and moved on. And I think that caused a lot of problems that could have been avoided.
Probably.
And I think.
Is he perfect? No, absolutely not.
Well, none of us are. So the question is, what do you do when you get caught not being perfect? And I'm sorry and fessing up are usually the best two steps. Hiding it and whatever in today's day and age generally ends up poorly. Almost all the time.
Well, you guys thought it was a bigger deal than I did, so I really didn't think it was that big of a deal. And I'll stick with that.
It doesn't matter what we think. It matters whether it became a big deal. And the end result is less than how many months later, Ryan Day's the head.
Well, it became a big deal to everybody that wasn't associated with Ohio State or a fan of Ohio State.
Have you watched the Last Days of Night for 30 for 30 special, looking back? Because I wouldn't want to be one of those people, out there with a, Save Urban sign, like the people that were out there with the Save Bob Knight sign. Because you look like, if you were one of those people, you're a fool. Because it was time.
Yep.
I don't think one has anything to do with the other. Because Bob Knight wasn't winning the way Urban Meyer was.
Which is why he got fired when he did, because they had a reason and he wasn't winning. So if Bob Knight was winning.
So let me see if I can translate the end of the first segment here.
So I don't think they're similar.
The end justifies the means. Just win, baby, Raiders fan. Just bottom line the entire thing here. You get your job as long as you keep winning, and when you quit winning, well then
I'm the only fan that wants to win and doesn't care how it gets done. Is that what you're trying to say?
I said at the beginning of this segment.
Let's start talking about the Cowboys and some of their off the field antics.
Yes, we can, because it's insane. Like why Randy Gregory's still a Cowboy befuddles me, because it's not just off the field. He's also an idiot on the field.
All kinds of programs that have problems.
Correct, but if you win, you get excused. That's the way it goes.
Yeah,
that's the way it works in life too.
Correct.
But if Urban Meyer was going 7-5 every year, he wouldn't have survived
because that would have been an excuse for the university to fire
exactly.
him.
Correct. But you win and you keep your job
with cause to save $38 million.
Right.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
So you're saying it's a bigger deal if he's 7-5 than it is if he's 10-1.
At Ohio State, yes, it is. Absolutely.
No, it's a big deal either way. It's whether the university thinks it's a bigger deal.
7-5 work for you at Michigan when that happens.
Well, but they would have gotten rid of the coach.
Rich Rod was a nice guy.
No, he wasn't.
Brady Hoke was a nice guy.
Brady Hoke was a nice guy.
There you go.
Yes. And probably a good football coach, but inherited a mess, and who knows if he could have been great if he would have not inherited a mess.
I'm glad these guys could peer inside of the brain of Urban Meyer. All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More college football.
Hard. It's a little swollen in there. There's some pressure.
Wow, you're joking about it now?
I'm not joking. I'm just
You're joking that the guy's got physical issues?
No, I'm not joking.
Act like there are no physical issues.
There is a physical issue.
Take a timeout. You can text Marty now anytime you want, and we'll be back for a Roundtable show presented by Ralphie's.
Bring yourself to Ralphie's. Yeah, it's that good.
At Ralphie's, it's primetime football every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday nights. Enjoy endless wings starting at 8 p.m. each night and carry-out specials every day. Plus special pricing on all Labatt products, plus new craft and IPAs for the fall. As always, beer buckets only $10 Friday and Saturday.
Bring yourself to Ralphie's. Yeah, it's that good.
Mortgage Marty here. We hear every day here at Fairway how tight the housing market is, how there's just so few great homes out there. And I want to remind everybody we have a fantastic suite of renovation products. They are basically designed where you can buy a house, borrow extra money over and above the sale price, get contractors lined up, and we pay them after closing. So the work is done after closing. You get to pick who you're going to use, and you can buy that house, fix it up, and create what you want. With as tight as the market is right now, in fact, I have probably a half a dozen customers who are to the point where they're so frustrated they're about to give up. So just think renovation loan.
It's December Decadence as Powerbomb Wrestling is back in action in Toledo on a special Friday night event on December the 28th, 7 p.m. at St. Clements Hall, 2990 Tremainsville. Amazing 8 match to defense the heavyweight title against Unchained Brandon Day. The enforcer Andy Shane goes one-on-one with Sexy Sean Casey, with Malice, Queen Amidada, and the Circus of Pain all in action. Get your advanced discount tickets right now at pbwexcitement.com as they make a great Christmas gift. It's Powerbomb Wrestling Friday, December the 28th in Toledo. And back we are, the Front Row Roundtable Show presented by Ralphie's. Don't forget to pick up those Christmas gift certificates from Ralphie's. Good stocking stuffers. They go good with the Powerbomb Wrestling tickets, and they all fit really nicely into the stockings. But you also get a $5 bonus with some of those too. Check them out at Ralphie's. You're looking for those last-minute gifts. Who doesn't like Ralphie's? All right, back to the hating. And.
Continue on. What do you want me to hate on now? Are we changing topics?
Just know that Marty's getting texts right now. So
oh yeah.
As you're watching this. All right.
It's hard to concentrate when your phone's.
Wow, we're trying to. We got so many things to cover here. College football playoffs. This seems like an eon ago already, because all the other things that have happened.
Here's the other thing. Buckeye fans, you have to explain to me why you care about the difference between 5 and 6. It's like there were 6 beautiful daughters and 6 daughters and 4 of them were beautiful and then 2 of them were not. What difference does it make whether you get daughter 5 or 6? It doesn't make any. You're the same people, Buckeye fans, and I'm one of you that texted me at the beginning of the year that were righteously indignant that Wisconsin was ranked ahead of you, and I'm like, what difference does any preseason poll make? Yep. Zip it. It doesn't matter whether you were 5 or 6. I don't care. It might matter when our playoff system with 12 teams is adopted, which, by the way, if you look at this year's matchups, that would be, I think, Ohio State hosting LSU, maybe? I mean, there's some classic games.
If we were doing a 12 game?
You want a great one for next week. If you want, fans, if you want the most awesome time of the year, our 12 this year produces matchups that are.
If you just take the top 12 in rankings, if you just want to do it that way, we could simplify it here. You would have first round Penn State at Georgia, LSU at Ohio State, which means LSU would have to actually come north.
That's why the SEC would never do that.
Florida at
Michigan, yes.
And Washington at Central Florida.
And there's the honor. But I'm saying those
I don't think it is the honor, though.
But those other 3 games, you're telling me that people aren't riveted in regional rivalries and SEC, Big Ten. The ratings would be through this. And by the way, can you imagine trying to get a ticket that weekend in Columbus or Ann Arbor? I mean, you could. The lines
I can hardly speak just thinking about it.
And what we always say is follow the money. There's way more money in that reality.
And that's why I've never understood why they haven't expanded the playoff, because the money in there and the TV deals and everything, it's got to be ridiculous.
Compared to these garbage bowl games we're about to get.
So Alabama, Clemson, really Notre Dame, Oklahoma get buys in our system. As we go back to the Final Four here, me being obviously the Ohio State and Urban Meyer apologist here, I just don't think Oklahoma or Georgia deserve to be in, personally. And I'll tell you why. First of all, Oklahoma didn't play anybody.
Nor did Clemson.
And they
Nor
go,
did Clemson.
oh, well, they got to avenge their only loss. Well, they're the only team that got a chance to avenge their only loss. I think you said that to me earlier.
Yeah, if Ohio State would have played Purdue in the Big Ten championship game, they'd have probably beat them.
Exactly. If Georgia had played LSU again, they probably would have beat them.
By the way, that Georgia-Alabama game was fun to watch because talk about guys flying around and talent. That I would say that's
Well, until they tried to fake the punt.
Well, nobody said that there were great coaching in the game. I'm saying talent on the field. There was a lot of talent,
Sure.
and the defenses were. I mean, I think SEC defenses get a lot of extra credit because the offenses are so bad sometimes. But there was a really talented pair of defenses on the field that
But
day.
Georgia had their chance.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and the part of this that everybody's got to remember, because supposedly winning the conference championship is supposed to mean something. According to their criteria, which they never use.
Well, okay, but the bottom line of the criteria when they put it up on the board during the show is other relevant factors.
Well, they should put that first because that's the way it ends up turning out.
Which basically
So
is
Notre Dame isn't a conference champion because it isn't in a conference.
But other relevant factors just
It is
basically
an
gives them
advantage
it just
that
gives
they don't
the,
have to play a 13th game. It is an advantage.
Well,
Well, not
absolutely.
this year because Clemson got to play
Pitt.
nobody, and Ohio State got to play nobody. And then Oklahoma got to avenge its only loss, which gave it an extra thing on a resume.
Yeah,
so,
but Notre Dame could have lost a 13th game.
what, to Syracuse the second time or USC the third time? I mean,
Yeah, but just going out there, I mean, how many times have we seen championship games derail teams?
Ohio State will never lose to Purdue. Come on.
look, I'm just saying the conference, other than the Georgia-Alabama game, the conference championships this game to me this year were yawners. They
The
were.
last
But
four,
it's this year. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I
happened in the past.
the last 4 regular season games that Oklahoma played, they gave up more than 40 points a game. Each game.
And won all 4.
Yeah.
And won all 4 because of the equally lousy defenses in the Big 12.
No, there is no. The defense was banned in the Big 12 4 or 5 years ago.
But if Georgia had no losses and lost that game, then I'm all right. I'm all right putting them
Right.
in
They
the
were
Final
both
Four.
undefeated, that's true.
But not with a second loss. And you're trying to figure out who the best team is in the country. Well, we already know that Alabama's better than Georgia. So how is Georgia the best team in the gets to play for the best team in the country? They shouldn't.
And I don't think Alabama played their best game, and Tua wasn't 100% and whatever. So you had your shot at a, semi-limping juggernaut, didn't get it. So there you go. That was your playoff game.
The point is, teams in other conferences that don't play each other. The SEC, a great conference, don't get me wrong. But you look at that non-conference schedule, it's a joke. It's awful.
Georgia's best non-conference team was like Tennessee Chattanooga.
So out of the top teams in the Big 5 conferences generally don't play each other in the regular season. So you really don't know for sure who the better teams are of the conference champions.
But okay, so Georgia had 2 losses. They lost to number 1 on a neutral field in their own backyard, and number 11. Michigan lost to number 3 and number 6 in both true road games. Why wasn't Michigan in the discussion? I mean, their losses are better than Georgia's.
I
I
don't want everyone in the region to blow my phone up tonight because I've
I'm
already
not saying-
irritated all the Ohio State
But
fans.
I'm not saying Michigan should have been in because they shouldn't have.
Because you got beat by a team that got beat by Purdue by 29, and you got dialed by them. And I saw the Purdue game, and Ohio State fans, after I saw that game,
Right.
I can't forget what I saw. You're not a playoff team.
And if they play
and
again-
by the way, if your junior high son quarterback can complete a pass against Maryland at the end of that game that was wide open in the end
But
zone
they
to
didn't.
win it, I understand
Ifs and
that.
buts were candies and nuts every day to be a Merry Christmas. But the Purdue game, if they were to play again, who would be favored?
Ohio State by 2
Do you
scores.
think that was a true representation of how good Ohio State is?
I think it was a true
Or it's an outlier?
I think it was a representation of the fact that Ohio State was struggling all year in the locker room
Now you
and
can
whatever.
text him.
Yes. Talent-wise, Ohio State's superior, but they played crappy most of the year.
But
They
Oklahoma,
underachieved
Well,
all
they
year.
won 11-1. They played crappy most of the year.
but Oklahoma needed overtime to beat Army too. I mean,
You would have think Ohio State would have won 8-4 or 7-5 the way some people talk about them, but they didn't. We got a break again, and we're gonna talk some NFL on the other side. We got more time to break this down and
12-team playoff.
Marty to hate
12-team playoff.
for a roundtable show presented by Ralphie's.
Bring yourself to Ralphie's. Yeah, it's that good.
At Ralphie's, it's primetime football every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday nights. Enjoy endless wings starting at 8 p.m. each night and carry-out specials every day. Plus special pricing on all Labatt products, plus new craft and IPAs for the fall. As always, beer buckets only $10 Friday and Saturday.
Bring yourself to Ralphie's. Yeah, it's that good.
Mortgage Marty here. We hear every day here at Fairway how tight the housing market is, how there's just so few great homes out there. And I want to remind everybody we have a fantastic suite of renovation products. They are basically designed where you can buy a house, borrow extra money over and above the sale price, get contractors lined up, and we pay them after closing. So the work is done after closing. You get to pick who you're going to use, and you can buy that house, fix it up, and create what you want. With as tight as the market is right now, in fact, I have probably a half a dozen customers who are to the point where they're so frustrated they're about to give up. So just think renovation loan.
It's December Decadence as Powerbomb Wrestling is back in action in Toledo on a special Friday night event on December the 28th, 7 p.m. at St. Clements Hall, 2990 Tremainsville. Amazing 8-match to defense the heavyweight title against Unchained Brandon Day. The enforcer Andy Shane goes one-on-one with Sexy Sean Casey, with Malice, Queen Amadonna, and the Circus of Pain all in action. Get your advanced discount tickets right now at pbwexcitement.com as they make a great Christmas gift. It's Powerbomb Wrestling Friday, December the 28th in Toledo. All right, back we are on the Marty Benz Show here, and I'm sorry, the Front Row Roundtable Show presented by Ralphie's.
Well, let's see. So, is there any opportunity to continue to alienate Lions fans and Browns fans? Because I've already got Ohio State and Michigan fans ticked off tonight.
Well,
so I might as well.
Toledo fans are next, so we talk about Kareem Hunt.
Yeah,
Does he have anybody helping him out? Seriously?
Oh, that interview that he gave on last Sunday was brutal. They really needed to coach him more if he was going to do that.
I don't know who they is, because it didn't look like
his
anybody was
agent
coaching him whatsoever.
Somebody, because, I mean, for him to just go out there and say, well, I don't know what happened. Well, yeah, you do. There's video.
And fortunately,
everybody knows what happened.
The interviewer dropped the ball on follow-up questions, because when he said he deserves forgiveness, the obvious question is, well, why do you think you deserve forgiveness? That would have been the obvious question to follow up on.
But had he been coached up, he'd have said, I would like the opportunity for a second chance and hope I can redeem myself in a way to deserve a second chance. I mean, something about a second chance.
You don't even talk about a second chance at this point.
Well, when she said...
You talk about trying to make things right. You don't talk about a second chance.
When Lisa Salters said, what did the woman say to you that got you all mad? Well, I don't know. Yeah, you do. Well, I don't want to talk about that. Well,
it doesn't matter. I remember saying it doesn't matter.
But it does, because
but unfortunately, that's what's true today. And whether it's, I say unfortunately, because apparently you can say anything, and no matter what you say, you can't do certain things anymore. Wow. It's completely. And I actually think if somebody walked up to you and smacked you in the side of the head, that you can't retaliate if you're a male athlete anymore. It's totally zero tolerance. And whether that's right or wrong, we could all debate, but that's the rule today.
Well, that wasn't just somebody. It was a female.
That's what I'm saying. If you're a male athlete and it's a female, no matter what happens, you can't do certain things now. No matter how vile whatever's done to you.
Well, I would say you can't get away with something now, because everybody's got a camera. Everybody's got a camera in their pocket.
But I'm saying, let's say that she said what's alleged, and let's say she struck first. Does that change the reality today?
Not when you're a 230-pound professional athlete. And
it doesn't matter who you are. You can't get physical because somebody called you something, even if that is true.
I understand.
I mean, and now that.
But we're talking about, he didn't say what she said. Well, then it doesn't matter. If it doesn't matter, why address it? Because it doesn't matter.
But then he's got to say that, or if, as other people had, or if in discussions I had, people, well, it was because of the legal stuff. Well, then say that. Say, well, I can't get into what happened because of lawsuits or.
And as we tape this now, there's rumors there's been other problems.
Well, the one put in Bay just came back up. Yeah. There was another one in Kansas City that came up.
Can we say pattern?
Very, very seldom when those things happen are they one-offs. There's usually more under the surface.
And the one that everybody, well, that's not me. Everybody says that anytime they get caught. Well,
yes,
that's not me. Well, obviously it is, because
you did it. That makes it you.
I mean, I've never hit a woman, and I never will. I would assume, I mean, I don't know. It wouldn't be. It would be a one-off if I did it, but I wouldn't do it.
I don't understand how you don't have handlers by the time that incident happens that would have helped you avoid that situation.
Doesn't have any income now.
Right, but I'm saying, like the Cowboys, the Cowboys have babysitters all over the place, and there's a reason for that. And apparently, the Chiefs could use some babysitters.
The thing that kills me is that somebody who's got that kind of talent that takes their career wads up, throws it in the corner. I mean, he was talking about how hard he's worked his whole life. Well, you know what? We've been around high school athletes and college athletes and they all work hard, or they don't get to where they're going.
And lots of other people, for lots of different reasons, have had their careers gone in
given
a
anything
blink
to
of an
have
eye.
1/10 of that talent, and then just to throw it away.
And the ones with the talent are the ones that work hard. I mean, we both know people. We all know kids who had all the talent and just didn't want to do anything with it.
You know what? It's another reason why it's better taking a kid that's smart and gets it and understands it than taking a chance on somebody who doesn't. All right, we just got a couple of minutes left. NFL coming up tomorrow. All right, get your Dallas thing out of the way. They're in first place, whatever.
They're going to lose in the first round of the playoffs, assuming they can even still win the division.
Still circling the drain.
Yes, it's a semi-clogged drain. And by the way, another Redskin quarterback broke his leg, so apparently the drain is all muddied up now. And now the Eagles are back in the discussion, and they're awful. The entire East is awful. We've been saying that every week.
It's the Cowboys division. I mean, the Eagles couldn't even put away Mark Sanchez.
Which means Jerry will do nothing. Nothing will change, and we will live in mediocrity for perpetuity.
Texans won their 9th in a row, by the way. Just thought I'd let you know
it was
that.
against the Browns. Browns fans, please stop.
Not all 9.
I'm just saying, but this one wasn't. Please stop texting me. I mean, it's great. It's better. There's a little hope on the horizon, but
McCarthy getting fired, I say get over it. Wasn't working. He had a nice career at Green Bay, but it's not working right now. He's lost the locker room.
I wouldn't want to be his replacement either, because Aaron Rodgers is not a guy who looks like a coachable guy.
Well, now he's not coachable because they're not winning. He was a great when they were winning, they won a Super Bowl, the greatest guy in the world. Now he's just a pariah.
I don't know that he's a great guy, because there's a lot. If you ask about whether he's a great guy, there's a lot of stuff out there that he's not a great guy.
This stuff only comes out when they're losing. I mean, that
I don't know about that. That stuff's been out there a long time. It's just you forget it when they're winning. And, oh, by the way, he's a heck of a talent. But now the question is whether or not he's the reason.
We're out of time here. Cleveland's at home against Carolina. Detroit's at Arizona. That's a wonderful game at 4 o'clock. Philly and Dallas is 4 o'clock. Hell,
Giants, Redskins.
Pittsburgh, Oakland's at 4 o'clock. All right. There are some good games, believe it or not, but we have to run. We ran out of time. All right, Marty will continue hating the rest of the week, the rest of the weekend. Big John, I'm Norm Waymer. Saturday Night Live next, Powerbomb Wrestling at 2 a.m. You can't catch it, DVR it. We'll see you next week on the Front Row Roundtable Show presented by Ralphie's.